Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today. Do I have lipstick on my teeth? I don't know. Yes, I do. Hooray. Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today for an update on my winter project pan. This is a particularly short project pan. So I created a new project pan a month ago for winter, and because it is pretty short, I probably shouldn't have expected as much as I wanted to achieve from it, but I've got a bunch of products. I have finished some. I've made like almost zero progress on others, so let's just run through it really quickly. And yes, if you're not familiar, I'm from the southern hemisphere. It is winter now. It is going to be going into spring in a month, so I've got a month left of this project pan. All right, so let's start with the products that I have used up, and I will talk about these in my empties, which I'll film after this, so it'll go up after this if you want to see what I thought about the products and whether I would repurchase them or not. But continuing on from my last project pan, which was my autumn project pan, I had two items and I have used them up. One is a MAC paint pot. It was in the shade Utterly Becoming, which was like a limited edition sort of shade, very similar to Painterly, and I used that up, which was really, really good. So I'll show you, hang on, I'll show you on the screen where I started with this project pan. There wasn't much of it. It was just sort of in the sides, and it only took a couple of weeks to use that up. I also used up this pigment that I was using as a highlighter. I really enjoyed this. It was from Concrete Minerals, and the shade was Rocked. And on the screen you should see how much I started with in this project pan. It wasn't much. Once again, it was a carry-on from my last project pan where I started this pretty much full. One more empty, and that is by accident. So this is the Pixi Glow Mist, and this is a sort of hydrating sort of finishing spray. Now when I did enter it into my project pan, I don't know if you can see, it was up to there, so it was just under or around halfway, so just sort of there. What happened was I was reaching for this. I do keep hang on, this is really heavy, let me grab it with both hands. I do keep my empties basket under my desk where I do my makeup, and one day this knocked off my desk and hit the empties basket, and I picked it up and I'm like, why is it wet? And I noticed that it had a hole down the bottom, so it had punctured. So I'm not too sure if you can see, but just there's a little hole that was punctured into it. So I did manage to mark down where it was up to when that happened, and it was a couple of weeks into the project pan. So I think if I was to continue this at the rate that I was going, I would have finished it up, but I didn't have a chance. It leaked out. Now, if this was a longer project pan, I probably would have brought in another spray to use, marked it at that point, and like continued on with it. But since this is the halfway mark and I've only got a month left, I am going to just wait until the next project pan. On to products that I'm doing pretty well on, and I am on track to sort of use them up. One is my fragrance. So in every project pan, I want to include a sort of like a foundation and also a fragrance, and this is my current one. So this is Daisy Dreams, and if you sit it up, it sort of is at the label, so you can see that if you sort of hold it still, it's at the Marc Jacobs line, and when I did introduce this, it was just like around the flowers. So I am using this pretty quickly, which is good, and this is a lower, like the smaller part of the bottle, so I should use that up in a month. And being like a really light, fresh fragrance, you can use quite a lot of it, which is good. And the only reason I'm sort of targeting these products is because they're getting old. So it's a nice fragrance. I like it. Look at the cat, is beautiful. You're looking beautiful. Yes, you are. Beautiful boy. How you doing? How you doing, beautiful boy? Yes. So yeah, if I didn't use this up in like the next, I don't know, 12 months, it probably would go off and start turning bad and the smell going a bit funny. So I am dedicated to using up as many fragrances as possible this year. Okay, another one I'm doing really, really well on, and I'm just really bummed that right now this knocked over when I was carrying it over here. So it's not as settled as it was when it's just sitting at my desk. But this is the Fenty foundation, and when I introduced it, it was once again sort of halfway mark, so up to there. Now it is down to here. So I've used easily a quarter of it in the last month. This is very, very easy to use. It's, you know, matches my skin color quite well. I like it. easy to use every day, quite comfortable. And I do find with this that I end up using quite a lot of it because it's quite runny, and I think to get a nice like even layer you need to use quite a bit of it, so it's quite easy to go through. And yeah, so I reckon next month I'll be done with that. Another product that I am seeing progress on but I'm struggling with is my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Illumination sort of concealer. Now I'm actually really surprised that I used as much as I did leading up to this. So Marked in Grey is where I introduced this, and now it is up to there, so I really don't have much to go. Now it looks like I made some decent progress but to be fair, there was like an air bubble in here, so when I did move this down, there was at a point a lot of like air that came out, so I think it looks like I used more than I actually did. And I actually am really struggling with this, and I'm struggling for a couple of reasons. One, this is a very, very thick, very light concealer, so even though it's in the shade medium, since it's a illuminating concealer, it is very pink toned and very light, and I find that if I use it under my eyes, it sort of emphasizes, see how I've got quite light eyeshadow there at the moment, and it kind of emphasizes that crease. So I don't actually tend to like putting much light stuff there, which goes against what a lot of people say to do. It doesn't really work for me personally, and you can see it really emphasized with that eyeshadow. Now, the only reason I'm wearing this eyeshadow is because I'm doing my 1 month, 1 palette where I'm testing every single shade out of an eyeshadow palette, so it just happens to be the day that I'm wearing this light one, but it does show you why I don't like to wear really light things under my eye. So I stopped wanting to use this as a concealer because I just found that it emphasized those creases too much, whereas if I go with a concealer that is the color of my skin, that sort of diminishes a lot. So I don't like using this as a concealer. It's too brightening. I tried to use this as an eyeshadow base, and the eyeshadows don't stick to it very well, even though it's a very sticky concealer. When I did introduce this, I thought, look, I'll use it to lighten the foundation because I'm in winter. This foundation might be a little bit dark for me. Turns out it's a fine shade, but also I found that when I do mix this, this is very hard to remove from makeup sponges. So it just kind of stays in the sponge and just creates like a dark patch, and it's very, very hard to clean. So I'm sort of struggling with this. Every way I use it, I don't like it. So I'm really surprised that last year I used as much as I did, because I'm really struggling with it now. So I will persist, but if I don't finish this by the end of this project pan, it's going, because I really don't enjoy it, and I'm really struggling to make it work. The only way I am making it work, and I am wearing it today, is if I put it on with my fingers underneath my foundation. So I sort of put it on lightly and then go over the top with my foundation, so it does sort of color correct or hide dark patches, but at the same time I put the foundation over the top so it doesn't look too brightening. So yeah, I'm just really struggling with this, but I feel like I'm almost done with it anyway, so fingers crossed I can keep using it. I've also made a bit of progress on the primer that I am panning. This is the Holika Naked Face Balancing Primer. So we destroyed this on the makeup breakup. We put it back in the container, and because we did this, I thought, look, it's going to start going off soon, so I'll start using it. It's also a really good time because this is like a hydrating primer, whereas when it gets to the warmer weather and I get really oily, I prefer like a mattifying primer. But I was down to, so when I started it was down to here, and it was pretty much unused, like it's almost a full primer. Now I'm up to there. I've still got a lot to go. If I go with that sort of measurement, I should be up to maybe here next time, but I've still got a bit to go. So this will have to carry over to next project pan. And this is not a bad product, but it is very, very liquidy and very wet. And I find that when I do apply it, I actually find this best to apply almost like a foundation with a sponge, because it is very, very thin and very, very wet. And I find that if you use your fingers and you put it on your face and sort of blend it in, I find it starts to lift the skincare that I've got going on. So I find it best just to sort of put a few pumps on the back of your hand, use your beauty blender or whatever it is, your sponge it on, and then go on top with your foundation. So yeah, it's not my ideal primer, but you know, it is a hydrating primer, and that's good, I think. All right, the next products are products that I'm not seeing great results, but I am seeing some results. So my bronzer that I've been wearing, and I've been wearing this pretty much every day, I'm wearing it today. It's a nice sort of pink toned bronzer, so it's good because when I've got fairer skin, sort of more brown bronzers look a little bit muddy on me. So I'm using this one. This is what it looks like now. And if you can see it compared to the photo on the screen where I introduced it, the pattern in the middle has gone down almost entirely, and I don't know if you can see as well, but I'm wearing away the middle patch more than these side bits. So these side bits I think are firmer, so when I swirl my brush in it, it mainly picks up that middle bit. So I think I will hit pan on this, not soon, but I'll hit pan on that middle part first for sure, because these parts are a lot more raised compared to the middle. But yeah, I've almost taken off the design completely on that. And I'm not sure if it's easier to see in that sort of angle how it's sort of wearing down unevenly, but yeah, it is. I've also been trying to use my NYX micro brow pencil as much as possible. I often forget, and so there are days where I will just use this on its own. And if you do use these kind of micro pencils to fill in your whole brow, you can use them up pretty quickly, and I don't actually have much left. So that's how much I have left in it. So that's entirely wound up. Now on the screen, it should show you how much I had previously. I haven't actually checked the photos, so I know I've made some decent progress, but I don't know how much. But I feel like that's just a few more applications. Now, you know, normally if you had a pencil like this, you'd just use it to sort of mimic hairs, but because I'm trying to use it up, sometimes I just fill in my whole brow. And I like these types of pencils, but I find this one to be particularly firm, so that's why I'm getting rid of it. I much prefer the Benefit ones. I feel like if you want to mimic soft hairs, you can put less pressure on, and it does that fine. Whereas if you want to make it a little bit more bold, you just press a bit firmer and it's a lot easier to apply. I just don't like this. I feel like it scratches when you're sort of trying to mimic some hairs, and on top of things like foundation and whatnot, it just doesn't really deposit much color easily. You really need to kind of hack away at your face to get this showing up. So for me, I don't really like it, so I'm glad that I've nearly finished it. Next brow product, this is a carry-on from my last project pan, and I do still really enjoy this product. I'm just getting a bit frustrated that I don't feel like I've seen much progress. Now, you might notice I've got quite bold brows going on today, and that's because I have been trying to use up this darker side. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dark Brown Brow Powder Duo. Now, what I wanted to do in my last project pan was hit pan and sort of use up that light side, and what I wanted to do in this project pan was finish up that light side and also hit pan on the dark side. Now I have been going quite bold with brows occasionally, like today, so I have made a dent. So you can see there's a dent. So I feel like if I keep going the way I'm going and overusing my brow products, I could probably hit pan on that by next check-in. But to do that, I sort of find that I'm neglecting the light side, and I don't feel like I've seen much progress on that side, which is a shame. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to go with this, but there's a little bit of progress. You can see the dent, but there's not as much as I wanted. I also included a lip balm in this project pan, and this is one that I wanted to use during the day because it has an SPF, and I have been trying to use it every single day or multiple times a day. I sometimes forget, but it's sitting next to my computer, so I can sort of use it, and that is how much I have left. Now you can see on the photo on the screen, hopefully you can see that there's progress. I don't know if there's much, but I had hit pan last time, or hit jar last time when I did actually introduce it. I just wanted to use it up, and I'm not sure how much I've used up, but you can see the progress on the screen anyway. I have been consistently using that, so hopefully that starts to show a lot more progress soon. The last two things that aren't showing any progress is actually my Colourpop gel liner. So I knew that this was going to be something that's a longer term goal. I often do wear black gel liner if I'm wearing liner. Today I'm not wearing any liner. You know, lately I have been playing around with colored liners and wearing like makeup like today where I'm not wearing liner. So this hasn't actually shown much progress. So hopefully you can see on the photo that probably not much progress has been made on this one, which is a shame. But there was no way I could use up a half a gel liner in 2 months anyway, so this was sort of just introducing for the next project pan as well. So I'm going to keep using this and hope that it shows some progress soon. Now the last thing that is like something that is driving me absolutely insane is this blush by Illamasqua. This is in Naked Rose. I love the color. It's a beautiful blush, but I've been using it for now, what is it, 4 months, and I have a dent. We established that last time, but that is about it. Now I do use this every single day. I've gone very like over the top with it today, as you can probably see, but still there is no sign of hitting pan, and I'm very skeptical that I'll hit pan by the end of next month. I'm going to continue to use this every single goddamn day for the next month, and we'll see if I can hit pan on it, but I am not confident, unfortunately. All right, so that is my update, my 1 month update in my, or halfway mark of my winter project pan. It's a quick one, so you know, at least we've seen some progress, and I feel like by next time there'll be a couple of other things that I've used up, but there are some things that are not looking good. I did also want to mention really quickly, I know people will be saying, what lip color are you wearing? I'm wearing this by Maybelline. It is the, what the fuck is it? Superstay Matte Ink, and I just want to give a warning with this. When you do open it up, I don't know if you can see, it actually has these little dangly bits that sort of, this, like every time I open it, it has these little dangly bits, and you can get them on your pants. So be careful, because it's a mess. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that check-in, and the cat sleeping, and check back soon for my empties. So the products I've used up here, I'll talk about in my empties. I'll let you know how I felt about them after I used them up completely, along with all the other stuff that I used up over the past month or so, which is actually quite a lot of products. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye.